With Gladiator 2 coming out this week, I'm taking a look back at Gladiator, which is definitely up there amongst my favourite films of all time. Over 20 years since its release, Ridley Scott's sweeping epic is still hailed as one of the greatest historical dramas ever made. But what made it so groundbreaking then, and why has it endured? Over the next few minutes, I'm going to give you my personal reasons as to why Gladiator is probably still Ridley Scott's greatest achievement. First up, if you happen to have been living under a rock, Gladiator, released in 2000, follows the story of Maximus Decimus Meridius, a betrayed Roman general who's enslaved and forced to fight as a gladiator. He's driven by thirst for revenge against the corrupt Emperor Commodus, who murdered his family and stole his throne. Now, as an elevator pitch for a plot, it doesn't get better than that. Betrayal, loss, redemption, war, the Roman bloody empire. At the time, 14-year-old Dan was like, sign me up. But I never got to see it in the cinema, and nor have I ever. My introduction to Gladiator was the VHS, which was the very last VHS I was ever gifted or had. I got it that Christmas in 2000 when I had recently turned 15. At the time, DVDs were pretty pricey, and even though I'd just gotten a PS2, my parents opted for good old VHS. I remember as soon as I opened it, I bolted for the TV and stuck it on, desperate to watch it. Even through the scan lines of an old CRT and a beat-up old VHS machine, I was captivated by Gladiator. The opening scene just gets me every time. The rousing music, the speech from Maximus to his men, the battle that ensues, and how we are then introduced to Marcus Aurelius, played by the incredible Richard Harris. And then in waltzes Joaquin Phoenix as Commodus, and the setup is complete. It's a deft and brilliant opener that firmly positions Maximus as this enigmatic leader and a cruelly treated hero. The stakes are so great and palpable. When his family is murdered, you really feel the grief when he sobs against his murdered wife's feet. Similarly, it sets up Commodus as a villain you love to hate. He's complex, manipulative, and terrifying in his vulnerability, and Joaquin Phoenix's performance is dazzling. From then on, the building of the world of Rome and the squall of the empire is captivating. Digital and practical effects seamlessly blend to make this ancient world come alive. That first reveal of the city was jaw-dropping back then. Using cutting-edge CGI mixed with practical sets, Gladiator offered a historical scale and immersion that I'd rarely seen in Hollywood up to that point. For 2000, the visuals were groundbreaking. Scott pushed visual effects boundaries, blending digital technology and traditional filmmaking. It's one of those great cases for practical effects being supported and not led by CGI. Sure, when you watch the fight with the tigers now, it's apparent that the technology then meant that they had to do some funny workarounds to make this sell. What's timeless is the cinematography and production. It's so bloody well shot. The colour palettes and the sets and makeup that give it this deep, dirty, gritty realism just embeds you into this world. How the story builds from Maximus basically being close to death to him becoming the most lauded fighter in the Colosseum and defying an emperor is one of the big selling points of the plot. He drives himself forward, learning from his peers and Oliver Reed's character Proximo, and all these moments lead to his actions being a vessel for other people's dreams of Rome. On the surface though, every time he gets in the ring, this film entertains. Sure, it's holding a mirror up to its audience when Maximus exclaims, "Are you not entertained?" Yes, Russell, I am bloody well entertained. Gladiator goes down in history as one of those films with some killer dialogue moments that have become synonymous in pop culture. No matter how many times I've seen this, the moment he turns at Commodus and delivers that speech sends chills down my spine.
Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Oliver Reed's final performance is in this, and he died partway through production, so Scott had to shift the story around a bit and managed to, without my notice on the first couple of watches, use takes already shot of Reed in totally different scenes. It does work, and in fact, even if his death in the film seems sudden and rushed, that repeated line of Shadows and Dust sticks with me. Proximo is a great character. Oliver Reed is just magnetic. The final showdown between Commodus and Maximus is so intense. By this point, I hated every fibre of Commodus and willed Maximus on, and the result is both deeply satisfying and utterly tragic. I haven't even mentioned the soundtrack yet, which incidentally I also got not long after seeing it. And at the time, many Warhammer painting sessions and school exam revisions were soundtracked by Hans Zimmer and Lisa Gerrard's epic score in my bedroom. I've watched Gladiator so many times over the years, and it's one of Ridley Scott's I keep coming back to. It's also one I think he's never really topped, and he's done some great historic epics since. And I think the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven is where he took what he learned from Gladiator and made things on a more epic scale. But you can't beat the setup for Gladiator. Whether it's your first viewing or your 100th, Gladiator is still an exhilarating experience today. One that reminds me why I go to the movies in the first place. One day though, I will see this in a cinema and I'll lap up every minute of it. And also, I quickly ended up with this on DVD and subsequently Blu-ray. The VHS was retired fast and that DVD was like the best ever, with so many cool special features. I am in equal measure looking forward to and dreading seeing Gladiator 2, as I hope it has the grounded realism and magnetic characters that made the first one so brilliant. Either way I feel about it, make sure to subscribe so you get notified when my review for that comes out. And that's it for my look back on Gladiator. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and say hello in the comments, or try this video next. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.